Navigating through the energies of New Earth is not an easy process and can become extremely overwhelming at times. As we all ascend into higher frequencies, we're all being guided to embrace our own unique divine pathway, a pathway created in the vibration of love. Join Vibe Nation radio host, international psychic medium Carrie Turcotte, as she guides her listeners to rediscover themselves by accessing the keys of knowledge that already exist within. Each week's show is divinely orchestrated to intertwine with the universal energies, allowing the listeners to go deeper within and understand the message being shared even greater. When you live in the frequency of love, there is no competition, so Carrie will be joined regularly by fellow soul family members who will bring forth wisdom and knowledge she knows should be shared on a global level. At the end of each show, Carrie will tap into the energies of the listeners to see what message Spirit wants to share with all those listening in for the upcoming week. If you really want to get to know who you truly are, come and join us now on Vibe Nation Radio, here on the IOM Radio Network.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to another edition of Vibe Nation Radio here on this beautiful day here near Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It is in the 40s. It is so hot outside, but summer is here and change is here, and this is what this show is all about today, that the tides on Vibe Nation Radio are turning for the summer, and we're turning this show into an Indian summer. And what do I mean by this? As you all know, Chris Anderson, better known as One Feather, has been on the show quite a bit. And we have created certain shows and we've twisted them around. And we just kind of said, okay, this isn't feeling good. This isn't feeling good. Let's go with this. And we decided to create the Indian Summer. And what does this mean? It means that Carrie is stepping back for the summer because she has a lot of projects on the go that she really needs to put her attention in. And Chris is going to be taking over Vibe Nation Radio and creating an Indian summer. And what does this mean? Well, Chris wrote a little blurb for me just before here, and he's saying he wants you to join him on an ongoing kaleidoscope of topics and guests centering on the quest of a non-dualistic experience of living in dualistic reality. Sharing the mystical experience, Chris will offer ideas to the listeners and are founded on ancient wisdom, as well as progressive thought that accommodates life in the multidimensional world we inhabit. So how cool is that? So I will put that information up on my website, but, I'm really excited about this because Chris and I have worked together for quite some time, and we're really in gel with the energies. And I know that you, the listeners, have come to love and enjoy Chris's wisdom and knowledge. And I thought, how perfect is that? So I can step back and put the energy on things that I need to put the energy on, and Chris can enlighten you for the summer. I just think this is beautiful. And, this is about the change that we're all going through. Change is consistent. It's the one thing that we have that change. Everything in our life changes, minute by minute, second by second. And it depends on, where you navigate yourself through. You have these choices, but change is inevitable. So we're working with the flow with this, knowing that every single one of us this summer is going to transform into a completely different person by the time fall comes. And the energies that we're dealing with right now are going to intensify throughout the summer. And I will get into in the next segment some of the stuff that, again, I've been channeling through my dad. My dad is my channel. And when I channel information for those with the Vibe Report, it's about the energy that we're currently navigating through here on planet Earth. Okay, so the channel, even though I'm not an astrologer, the channel will align with cosmic events, astrology that's taking place, but it also intertwines the energies of what will be taking place here on Gaia. Because we have to navigate through both. Yes, the cosmic energies are there for us to tap into, but we also live on planet Earth, which is 3D reality, which has all these 3D feelings and vibrations connected to it. So it's about you navigating through this. And this summer is going to be a big test for a lot of people. But again, there's beautiful energies to work with. But there are also some energies that aren't so pretty that I'm seeing coming up. And, it's reality. Look at the world that we live in. And this is a time where Spirit is saying for all of you that are listening in that, with Chris coming on too, with his wisdom and knowledge, with A Course in Miracles and astrology and this and that. Like, I mean, he brings so much to the table. And this is allowing you all to get more in tune with who you truly are at a soul level, because we're all on our own unique journey. No two souls are having the same experience. And if you're in divine union, yes, you may have the vibrations that are common denominators, but what you experience in your current reality reflects that of your reality. So, Spirit's just saying to me, please know that the tide is turning for everyone over the summer. And my dad used an analogy not too long ago, actually a couple months ago, that in April he was standing on a lake saying, okay, Carrie, what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip this rock. And here we are in April, and I'm going to skip it. It's going to go to May, then it's going to go to June, then it's going to go to July. Then in August, during the solar eclipse, it's going to land, and it's going to go into the water. And it's almost like they're saying they're preparing us to get ready for that we do have other energy portholes that are open to us. We have the summer solstice coming up, but we also have the 888. And they're saying that, yes, the energy is there to align with, but it's preparing you for truly the solar eclipse that's taking place on August 21st. Because that energy that you'll be working with, you're either going to be vibing fear or love. There is no in between when it comes to this point at that time. And that will determine what will start to manifest in your life in 2019. So it's really important to get into the now, stay in the moment, and work on yourself, they're saying, that the soul is guiding the way, that the psychic abilities are kicking in for everyone, but are you truly listening? When Spirit comes knocking, like again, knock, 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 are you available? Are you hanging out with the boys, which is the ego, or are you hanging out with the past, or are you hanging out with the future? If you're hanging out with any of the above, then when Spirit comes knocking, or the universe or God, whoever may come knocking, you're not going to be able to hear them. So it's so important that you live in the moment as much as possible over the summer, because we're here to have fun, enjoy life, allow the little kid to come out and play. And I know here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're into summer, and the other side of the world, they're going into winter. But again, depending, like if you're going into winter, you're going into that magical time of the holiday season. Those that are here, I know here in Ontario and Canada per se, we really cherish the summer because we don't have the warm seasons for very long. Okay, so this is a time where all of us on a global level can allow the little child to come out to play and just live in the moment, knowing that, when you get home, you can deal with that stuff. But why do you need to put the energy of thinking about it while you're out trying to enjoy yourself, knowing that, it doesn't matter till you get home anyway, so don't think about it. This is where they're saying that you really need to start to train the brain or retrain the monkeys, because we're all in that type of mode right now, that we're all rewiring that which we've been conditioned. We've been programmed to think, speak, feel certain ways. And now in the new, like we've gone from those 3D energies, now we're in the 4D into 5D. But the energies here on Gaia are 3D. We always will be in 3D. We are 3D physical bodies, physicals here that actually has an aura with emotions and mental. So you will always go up and down, but you do not want to live there. You want to live in 4D. And 4D is where the vibration of love is. It's 432 hertz. So you want to get yourself aligned with that, my friends, knowing that, you can tap into 5D, which is that blissful state. But again, you can't live there until you actually pass on the other side. Then you live there. But in this magical world of the new earth, we work with the divine, that we throw out the vibrations of that make us feel so worthy and so blissful, knowing that they understand that feeling, and what they can bring to us is magic. Because we don't know what this 4D magic is. We've never lived in this type of energies. So what we truly desire, we've never experienced it before. So how do we truly know what it is, that magic that we truly desire, when we've never experienced it? It's not possible. So this is about throwing those vibrations out of that makes you feel wonderful without putting expectations or assumptions of how it's going to manifest. So that when your spirit shows up at your door and says, you know what, we've been feeling those vibes for you living in the present, so here's your prezi from us. And they throw an opportunity at you. It's beautiful. I know that this is stuff that I've been working with people in the Vibe Report, and to see some of the comments that they're sending me and these emails, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful place to be. Because when you get into the past, you get depressed. And when you go into the future, you get anxiety. And if you do both, you're a spun monkey. So, Spirit's just trying to say, take the time over the next few months to really work on self and know that change is consistent. It happens all day, every day. And, who you are today is not going to be who you are at the end of the summer. So pull up your big boy and big girl panties, they're saying, and know that you're worthy of this, that, you're going through whatever you're going through right now to clear the way, to be able to heal that which needs to be healed so that you can move forward on your journey. And again, no two journeys on this planet, my friend, are the same. Everyone is unique and different. We are part of this global puzzle that everyone has their own uniqueness that they bring to the table. And as we all start to ascend, we start to come together as our own uniqueness to create a bigger puzzle to help all of humanity. That's what the light workers are here to do. We're here on a mission. And I think a lot of people forget about that because it's so difficult. I mean, again, you get caught up in day reality, and this is why so many people like myself, I don't have a television in my house. I don't watch TV. It just, even sometimes I go to watch Netflix and I get 10 or 15 minutes into a movie now and I have to stop it. I'm so into living in the moment and just embracing it. I'd rather go sit outside in my backyard on the grass and, bake in the moonlight. So, this is about getting in tune, because remember, every single living organism on this planet is a tuning fork. So when they're in tune with 4D, which is what nature is, okay, so when you go out there and you sit on the grass and every single grass is a tuning fork, they're already in alignment with the 4D vibration, which is the vibration of love. So by simply just going out there and spending a little time and grounding yourself and feel the love for yourself, this is going to help you be able to move forward, because, again, what you are vibrating is what's going to attract into your life. And right now we're trying to reprogram the brain to think about what we want instead of what we don't want. So think about that, and when we return, we'll allow Spirit to continue on with the show. Stay tuned, my friends. We'll be right back.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Radio's What Is Going On show. If you've been on a spiritual journey and know yourself to be more than just your body, mind and emotions, yet still struggle to fully love yourself and the life you're living, if you experience childhood challenges that continue to play out as limiting patterns in your daily life, if you long for success in your relationships and career but keep finding it eludes you, I invite you to join me on the free Journey Back to Love Symposium that I'm co-hosting June 18th to 24th. You'll get valuable insights, tools, practical processes and gifts from 8 internationally renowned teachers and speakers that would not only dramatically shift your perceptions about love, but also help you understand and integrate all those places where you may have secretly believed that you were broken. So if you're ready to transform your beliefs about love, success and freedom, and finally put all your perceived limitations, fears and failures in your relationships and life behind you, visit thejourneybacktolove.com and join me on this free life-transforming journey back to love. I look forward to seeing you there.
Have you been searching for a perspective beyond the mainstream? Check it out. Join your hosts Cielito Pascual and Diana Gold Holland on Share International Radio for thought-provoking views behind the news, Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio. You can also find us at shareontheairradio.org. This may be the message of hope you've been waiting for.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Vibe Nation Radio, where today the show is being called Turning the Vibe Nation Radio Tide into an Indian Summer, which, again, I'm just so blessed and honored that Chris is going to take the reins of Vibe Nation Radio so I can truly put time and effort to some projects that I'm working behind the scenes, and a lot of you guys know this. The OMTimes expert webinars are coming up. So stay tuned for that. But there's a lot of stuff that's taking place. And, they're saying to me, Spirit's saying to me right now that it's so important. They want to go back to, when Spirit comes knocking, are you going to answer? And they're talking about, how important this is to be able to learn how to live in the moment. And they want me to share an experience that happened to me. And it's something that just came out of nowhere. Like, I've been vibing on what I need to do and where I'm going and living in the moment as much as I possibly can. And all these opportunities have just been coming out of all over the place. But there was a really, really loud knock last week. And it was a dear friend of mine, Craig Gertz, who is the creative director at DT Floral and Decor, Inc. And he is involved with an event at the Guild Inn Estate. And it's a grand opening of a venue that has basically, this home was abandoned for about 15 years, and it was very neglected. And somebody within the family had connections with people in the event industry, so they've turned it into a venue, and they've actually added an extension to it. But if you've been on my Facebook page, you'll see some of the pictures of some of the artifacts that are on the grants. And when I went there to do a site inspection, I was so excited. I'm like, oh, this is so cool, right? So Carrie's like, come on, Carrie, let's do this, because he's a good friend of mine from the event industry. I've been hanging out with these event people for a very long time. So it's such a beautiful opportunity, because now I'm not a planner. I'm actually on the opposite end. I'm, the entertainer. And how beautiful is this at a new venue that is known for this magical energy? So I went and did a site inspection, and I'm walking around outside, and I'm getting pulled all over the place. I'm like, whoa, this is pretty crazy. I feel like I'm going into different timelines here. And, and then I started to realize that these were artifacts that were from different time frames and different locations. So the energy was pulling me all over the place. So it was pretty cool. And then I went inside, and I was meeting with the event group. And as I was in there, the Colonial Gentleman came through in spirit, who was so excited about what was happening with his land, because he just loved having people come and enjoy his land. This is why they got the artifacts. If you go on to the guildinestates.com, it's also at my website, carrie.com, and look at the history behind it. It's so cool. And it makes me understand the love and the magical energy that is there. And to connect with him, he gave them his blessing, which I was honored to be the one doing it. But he mentioned something that, again, nobody would have known except for them. But it was showing them that he truly did care, and he wanted to help them by bringing this situation to their attention to say, I'm very aware of this. Let's work on this. So, I feel blessed and honored that this came out of nowhere. This time last week, I wasn't even aware this was taking place. So, it's just by being available, and Spirit's like, you know what, let's go and have some fun. Let's enjoy this. These are people that I know. So, and Carrie loves to talk. So, let Spirit take over. My dad's going to come in, and I know he's going to rock the house. So I'm so looking forward to this. And this is what I'm saying, guys. Magic is there for you to tap into by working with the spirit world. Any of your loved ones, like we've been creating those that I work with the Vibe Report. We've been creating spirit teams, spirit ladders. And allowing our loved ones in spirit to really, truly work with us, because this is where we are in the new earth, that they want to work with us. There's nothing scary about working with loved ones on the other side. It's a beautiful feeling. And when you open yourself up to this, they're saying that this is going to allow every single person who's listening to the show, if you're living in the moment and just feeling the love for who you are, you know what, you're human. So you might have a really shitty moment, they're saying, or you might have a pretty crappy day. But you're not having a crappy life, is what they're trying to say. And what crappy lives were in 3D is not crappy lives in 4D. It's very different, right? So you might notice that certain situations that you've been through a gazillion times are a lot easier to go through now, or they don't push your buttons the way they used to. Well, you're healing this. And this is allowing you to shift into higher frequencies, because when all these, when the summer solstice comes and the Lion's Gate comes, which is very special to our family, because that's the day my dad passed. But again, he's always said year after year that this is energy that is there for the taking. Align with the energy that's there, because if you're not in alignment with it doesn't do any good, right? So again, they're trying to say focus on self. Put the energy into yourself, knowing that if you can get yourself to that beautiful vibration of love, which is the 432 of hearts, which is the love, the heart chakra, knowing that it is in balance with the mind. This is where the love and compassion, joy is in frequency, in alignment with the common sense and logic. Okay, so again, if something doesn't smell right, feel right, you read something, you watch something, you're like, this doesn't seem right to me, chances are it's correct that your soul's saying, you know what, this is not for me. This is about us finding who we truly are, and you might have to go to all these different avenues or different people, and, people will come in, the teachers will show up in your life when you're ready, and they will align with that, which is your frequency. So if you're following somebody and you're excelling and you're getting, you're moving yourself and you're following a few people, you might find that there's certain people that you no longer resonate with. This is where your truth comes into play, that, you need to listen to yourself and don't try and allow somebody else's perspective of what you should be going through change your perspective of what you're actually experiencing. Again, nobody knows what you're experiencing but you. Even if you're in divine union, my friends, yes, the energy frequencies are there and you can feel certain things, but again, you're not a mind reader and you don't live in their vessel. So again, this is about, that tuning fork. You're a tuning fork within a tuning fork. This is allowing you to turn around and get yourself in the frequency of who you are. Right? So again, the energies are here, my friends. And right now they're telling me to look at my notes here, that we're in this triple energy cluster and we've never been in one of these before. So when this takes place, again, this is about you ensuring that you stay in that frequency of love, because if you have really bad moments, you will spiral the other way. So you'll find a lot of people recently, as these energies have been really powerful this month, that their buttons are being pushed or they're snapping very quickly. They're not responding, they're reacting. And this is the triggers that are going off for so many people because they can't get in alignment with this energy. You need to be able to make, again, guys, there's a lot of 5D energy going on and above, but you've got to be able to bring that down into your 3D reality and create common sense and logic and get yourself into an alignment with 4D. Because that's where the love is. And this month is all about the love. So, and, they're saying that if you're not speaking your truth, you're going to get reality slaps, kicks, punches from all over the place. And I've been saying this for a while because this is about you speaking your truth of who you truly are. So a lot of you, if you're really into energy, you might find that you've got energy shifts taking place between your heart chakra, your throat chakra, and your solar plex. Okay? And this is saying that you need to believe in yourself now. Remember, we're in the new where you have to believe it in order to see it. In 3D, you had to see it in order to believe it. Well, again, this is where we're retraining the monkeys. And a lot of people's monkeys turn into lemurs, and some of them turn into gerbils, and they start to run around, and others turn into lions and tigers and bears. Again, we've all got them. This is part of the human experience here. We're here to learn lessons. So it's learning how to control and become friends with the boys. And right now, they're saying that, there's a great soul healing that's taking place with everyone on this planet. If you're allowing yourself to go with the flow. Like, don't suppress. If you feel like you need to cry, cry. If you feel like you need to scream, scream. And I mean, get some pillows and scream into them, or go into your car and blare you music and go on the highway and sing at the top of your lungs. This is the ways that you can do things to let this stuff out without, turning around and, breaking something in the house. What they're saying. Because a lot of people's buttons are being pushed. And over the summer, again, the energies are going to be, people say to me sometimes, Carrie, when are the energies ever going to calm down? And my answer to them is never. Welcome to New Earth. And this is why we need to learn how to navigate through the energies of New Earth, because we have the cosmic energies, which is the 5D energies, and then we have the 3D energies, which is the global energies, and we're trying to be in the middle at 4D and keep in harmony, which is not, again, easy to do. So this is why, again, you have to intertwine both, because global energies and cosmic energies, you have to intertwine them to understand where we're going with this, because the global energy doesn't always necessarily match what's going on with the cosmos. Okay? Meaning that, there might be something stewing, like we have a shit cluster is what I call it, coming up. And during these days, it's 3 days, and it's focusing around the summer solstice. So but if those that are in the frequency of who they truly are, knowing that they're living in the moment and they're working with spirit and vibing the love, this is a beautiful time. But if you're all of a sudden feeling, oh my God, these times are this crazy, there's so much crazy stuff happening on this world, I feel so isolated, I don't know what's going down, and Mr. Sad and Lonely crawl into bed with you and all this other stuff, people that are in that vibration are not going to have an easy time during the solstice time. So again, this is what I'm saying. You have to be in alignment with whatever the vibrations are that are coming to us through the solstice to be able to truly benefit from them. So, and how many people out there in the collective know nothing about any of this yet? They're still sound asleep. So again, think about this cluster is here to help us, because on a global level, the energy is not going to be so pretty during this time. So, I think Spirit's just trying to say to people that really use your common sense and logic to where you're getting your personal information for your spiritual journey. Make sure it aligns with your soul, okay? And there'll be times if somebody triggered you, stop and ask yourself, why did they trigger me? Did they trigger me because that's something that is a reflection of myself that I truly need to work on and heal? Or did they trigger me because of another situation? Again, there could be multiple reasons. But again, you have to understand that triggers are actually there to help you ascend and become a better person, because, again, we're here to learn lessons. And when the karmic bombs go off, or you get a reality slap, kick, punch in the face from Spirit, there's always a reason. And you might not understand it right here and now, but if you live in the moment and stop trying to analyze what just went down and just embrace it for what it was and just release it, it's going to be a lot easier to get through. Because, again, just look at the repeated patterns, my friends. There's a condo in my head exercise that I have on my website, Roll Over Home, go under Vibrasize. There's a bunch of Vibrasizes there. Use this to help you to be able to release the past, that learning that you are a more powerful soul today because of those experiences. That's why we're here, to have experiences. So, most of us they're saying a lot of us that are listening, your lives might seem like a Stephen King's novel. It just goes on and on and on and on. But they're saying, you know what? No, we're in the new earth now. This is a new book of life, where those experiences have made you the strong soul that you are. So use those powerful gemstones and look up to guide your way. Stay tuned, my friends, and I'll be right back.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Eros Evolution is where sexuality and spirituality meets. Join me, clinical sexologist Martha Tara Lee, on Eros Evolution on Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
When Dad needed help getting around, I became his driver. Soon enough, it was up to me to be his housekeeper and financial manager, too. When he moved in, I became his cook and even his nurse. But no matter what roles I play, I know I'm still his daughter.
We understand the roles you play. So to help, we created aarp.org/caregiving, where you can connect with experts and other caregivers. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Vibration Radio, where today we've been talking about the turning the tides of life, really, because Vibe Nation Radio is turning over to Chris for the summer. I know that the tides are turning in many different areas of my own life, where I know for a fact it's also happening with all of you. We're in a very, very beautiful time, in a very dark time at the same time. Again, this is the duality, and this is probably what they're leading up to, saying, let's just talk about the duality train for a second. So they're just saying that, we all have our own, we're responsible for our own soul journey. And we have what we call the soul train. And that soul train is on your soul track to where you're going. And you might have to go in and out of the caves and then back out in the view of the mountains where things are beautiful. But you need to know that you're always on that soul track, that your soul will always guide the way. But there's times where the duality train will come whipping by. And there'll be people hanging all over it and hanging out of it. And they're going to try and grab you on the way by to pull you into their reality of what they think is best for you or whatever. And they're saying that you're going to notice that a lot of people are going to have the blame game going on. It's everyone else's issue. And, today I went outside and I only went for a walk, and I ran into a few people that, I didn't talk to them. I just walked by them. But every single person that I walked by used the word hate. I can't stand that word. Like, I don't use it myself, and I can't believe I just said it, but it's almost like that is a zap to me, because it's not of a higher vibration. Like, it's the same as the word problem, that, you know, it's not a problem, it's an issue. It's a situation or a concern. Because remember, the magic mirror is out there, my friends. That's the universe. So whatever you're vibing out there, it could be your words, your thoughts, or your feelings. And again, they pick up on all of them. So you got to be careful. That's where the dynamic trio kicks in. That you want to make sure that they're in alignment with one another, so that you're truly, you know, attracting that which you truly desire. And when you start to think about things or talk about things or listen to somebody else talk about things that aren't in alignment with who you are, again, you're taking yourself off track. The soul track is there, but you might detour around another mountain because you decide, instead of going straight through, you've detoured now. Again, your soul's already there to guide you, and it will take you back to the original one, but how long does it take you to figure it out? Again, these are the life lessons, and once you start to see the repeated patterns, you can really stop and say, okay, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. And then the condo in my head exercise will help you determine what those are. So the information is there on my site, guys. Please really take the time to work on yourself, because, you know, they're saying that these energies that we're going to be experiencing, there's a lot of new coming in. Like right now, we've got the premiere of this energy cluster of love. It's a triple energy cluster, but we've never had a triple energy cluster before. And what it contains and what it's really bringing through us. Again, this is something that I know as myself as a channel, that we've never experienced this before. And we've got other things that are coming up in July and August. You know, we've got some tiered energy coming in, and we've also got the waves coming in. And these are energies that I've never channeled before. They're brand new. So again, we're in the new energy now, my friends. And when I channel, I can give you highlights of what's coming down the pipeline. But until we're actually riding that energy, I can't really talk about what we're experiencing until then, because we're all new to this. And that's how my channel works, that until we're actually in it and working with it, I don't talk about it. You know, again, I can give you a heads up of what's coming down, but until we get there, you know, it's a whole different ballgame. So, you know, Spirit is just saying, guys, do yourself a favor over these next few months and really, you know, put that time and effort into yourself and love yourself and listen to what your higher self is saying. You know, take a break from social media. I guarantee you, if you talk, you know, whatever it is that, you know, say you turn around, and I know a lot of people spend a lot of time on social media. So I used to be one of them. So say you spend a total of the day, let's say 5 hours, because that seems about right for most people. Most people are actually a lot more than that. But, you know, if you took that 5 hours and said, okay, I'm only giving myself an hour, and make sure you do that, you're going to notice a shift in your energy, because energy is what Facebook is all about. That's why I call it Facebook. So comments, you know, words are vibrations, my friends. So they're just saying, take the time. Like, you know, I'm lucky if I'm on Facebook maybe 10, 15 minutes a day. I go on, whatever spirit needs to get my attention on, it will be the first few posts on my feed. Then I go in, do what I need to do, and I get off. And simply because I need to put the energy into myself. And yes, I'm busy behind the scene working on a lot of projects, but I'm also very busy working on myself. Like when my body says, go lay down, I do. I have the opportunity to do that. I am very blessed that if I need to go take a nap, I can. You know, a lot of you don't have that ability right now. But if your body needs rest, go sit outside under a tree. Go sit in your car for a few minutes. Just shift your energy. Allow your body to just rest. Because, again, this is the process that we're going through. It's, you know, learn about chakras if you don't know about chakras. And, again, whatever you get pulled to, because there's so many different, like I said, there's the original 7, and then we've got the 12, we got the 13, we got the 22, we got the 33, and I met someone the other day, and they work with 133 chakras. So, again, whatever is drawn to you, whatever your soul's saying is what you need to work with, listen to your soul. Don't allow somebody else. Those that know me, I'm sure you guys can hear me like kind of burping in a way. Spirit's coming in really strong now. They're saying, get that kaleidoscope. He's like, okay. He's like, I can hear him going, aye, aye. Like, we're like, Captain. Like, I feel like we're on some ship right now. And we're riding this tide. Like, the VR is turning. They're like, so we're going on a captain ship, and we're handing it over to Chris. And as we're shifting, where was I going with this? This is too funny. Gotta love my dad. He's just almost like, you know, we're riding this wave, and he's like, pretend you're the captain. He said, and you're standing up there. He goes, the Pirates of the Caribbean just came out. Pretend you're Johnny Depp. And you're up there, and you've got that kaleidoscope, and you know where you're going. But all these people around you that are your crew are telling you, no, it's this way or that way, or this is the way we feel. They're saying, keep your kaleidoscope centered on you. Do not allow other people to change that kaleidoscope, because if you do, you're not going to be vibing on love. You might have hope, and hope is a 4D vibration, my friend. So hope is really good. Okay, don't get me wrong here. But when you hope for things, you have either a fear or a doubt attached to it, because that's why you're hoping for it. Okay, so, you don't need to say, I know I'm worthy or I am, because a lot of people cannot put themselves into something that they know they truly not. Say, I'm working towards. Very easy, very simple. It tells spirit you're working towards it. Okay, so they can help you get in line with it. This is where we have to work with, we have to make sure that our vibrations, our words, our thoughts, and our feelings are in alignment so that they can work with us. They work with those vibrations. So this is why they're saying, don't assume. Throw us the vibrations and don't assume. I tell people, bottle up the beautiful moments that you experience over the summer, okay? Get yourself, if you can get, they're showing me like a little rack. We've done this before, like a spice rack, where you can have like, maybe 9 little bottles, mason jars or something. And what they want you to do is they want you to start when you have a beautiful, blissful moment that allows you to feel like, oh, this is such a wonderful feeling, then write it down and put it in one of the jars until all the jars are filled. And then make the one in the middle the one that's the most powerful gem, the most powerful vibe that just makes you feel like off the charts. Okay? And they're saying then from after, when you get to day 10, write down that beautiful moment or whatever it is that you experience and replace it with one of the other ones that is not of that vibe. So of the other ones that are around, and take that and put it into the middle, and that middle jar will now collect all of those vibrations that you've had these beautiful moments with, and it's surrounded by all these gemstones that are just shining brightly. This allows you to go and take a few moments and look in that jar and say, oh, you know what? I am having a beautiful experience in New Earth. I am navigating through this. And the signs and synchronicities are there for everyone, my friends. Believe me, the SNS Soul Sisters are in full swing. But do not assume or expect what those signs are that they're giving you. A lot of people assume this is what it means. Just see it as spirit is throwing you breadcrumbs, or they're dangling a carrot in front of you and saying you're going the right way. So we're going to throw you signs everywhere. But again, don't take the sign and assume what it means. And chances are what happens now in 4D is they throw you a little gem, and then it's like, we're going to play. The little child's going to come out, and we're going to create pictures. And they throw you a gem, and they're saying, okay, there's one, and here's another one, and here's another one. And then what you have to do is you have to connect the dots to figure out what it really is that they're trying to say to you. So this is about having fun. Use your creative life source energy. We are co-creators. This is what we're here to do. We're here to co-create. So get your creative life source energy on, my friends, and get creative. This is why I have the lingo with the Vibe Report, because, they want people to have fun. They want people to enjoy this. But this is the creative life source energy coming through me when I'm working with my Father on the other side to say, you know what? We've got new things coming up. We've got new characters coming in. This has been the lingo since day one. So it's almost like, they're just saying, be creative with yourself and take that leap of faith, knowing that you own that creative life source energy. That's the creative life source energy that's coming from within you. So use that and keep your kaleidoscope. Here goes my dad, like going, here we go. We're going to go on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland. He's laughing because he's saying, so many people were saying, well, yeah, we're stepping into Disney World guys. This is the year of Disneyland. We're going to have all these beautiful magical moments and blah, blah, blah. But most people are not living in Disneyland. They're hanging out in the haunted house, or they're hanging out in the Pirates of the Caribbean. And, yes, life can be crazy, but they're saying you need to see the fun in this and understand that you're going through what you're going through for a reason, to help yourself become a stronger soul. There's so much wisdom and knowledge that lies within each and every one of us. It would blow your mind if you only knew just how powerful you truly are. And none of us have the capacity to truly tap into that craziness. I would think we've got 44% access to our soul memories, and I guarantee you most people are still in the 1 digits, right? So most people are not tapping into that 40. I don't think anybody on this planet can tap into the 44% soul memories. However, it is available there to tap in. But again, this is a process. So don't beat yourself up. If somebody's like, oh, I'm going through this and that, and you're like, wow, I can't believe that. My life is blowing up. We all go through this when we're supposed to go through it. Okay, you need to ride the waves. And again, there's a difference between Cosmo and, universal energies and Gaia energies. So just remember, you're dealing with both. You have to juggle both energies. So you got to balance them. Life is a balancing game right now. Is your masculine and feminine balance? Is your what above and so below is balanced? Is your energy of giving and receiving balanced? You start to throw all of this in. And again, this is why it's so important to take the time for yourself and know that, your gut's not going to lie to you. Your soul will not lie to you. They will not lead you in the wrong way. But if you're not in the frequency of love, in the 432 hertz, again, 4D, my friends, the boys can easily come in and make you think otherwise because of something that you've experienced in the past. Again, the boys feed from experience. So if you've had a lot of crazy experiences, which I would assume 99% of you listening to the show today have, these is what they feed off of. That's their juice. Like when they need a hit, they go after those past experiences to say, I'm going to bring you down. And for a lot of people, they do. Right? So just be aware. This is stuff that's going to be happening over the summer as the energies start to intensify because the global energies are going to get more powerful and the global energies are going to get more powerful if we don't start to shift. Okay? So again, this is just common, they're just saying in the bigger picture that they really want you guys to enjoy the next few months until the solar eclipse takes place. But it's hard work. You need to do the soul work. And you need to know that, if somebody tries to change your perspective, stop and ask yourself why. Maybe they're giving you guidance, but if they're telling you and not giving you guidance, then think twice. Stay tuned, my friends, and we'll be right back. We're going to have the reading of the week.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids. Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Dr. Kevin here, and I want to invite you every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, to join me on the Dr. Kevin Show, where we have a diversity of guests who help you step outside the box, behind the curtain, and see what a load of crap is going on in the world today, so you have more information with which to make better decisions. We'll see you there. Namaste.
Hello, I'm John Lithgow. Manatees are unique, among the most amazing animals on Earth, but they're endangered. We pose the greatest threat to their survival. Many manatees are killed or injured by boats or other recreational activities. I'm a writer of children's books, including one about manatees, and I believe education is the key. You can be part of the solution. Please contact Save the Manatee Club right now. Call 1-800-432-JOIN. Thank you.
Welcome back to Vibe Nation Radio, where today is actually my final show for the summer. And as much as I'm going to miss this, I truly need this time to reset myself again, like I said, to put the time and effort into what my soul is telling me to do. I've got a lot of projects on the go. And for anyone who does not follow my newsletter, Embracing Your Divine Journey, please go to my website and register. There's a lot of information that I put in my newsletters, a lot of information that you will not see on social media, because it's important for me to allow you guys to know that you're special to me. And if you're on my database and you receive information from me, I value you. And I want you to feel special and know that you're going to get information that you're not going to get anywhere else, simply because this is about the giving and receiving. And sure, we're sharing the love here. And that if you want to be, a member of my newsletter, I'm going to appreciate that by, putting information that I know is going to help you on your journey. So, again, you can do that at my website, and my dad's coming in saying, let's just get going on with this reading here. So My dad is saying a lot of people right now that are listening to this show still are vibing in the injustice that's happening on this planet, okay? And that injustice of what's taking place in so many different ways, okay? It could be the planet itself, humanity, political, animals, you name it, okay? So right now, the energy of this unfairness is very powerful, they're saying. So they're saying it's really important for you to take control of your energy this week and find the justice within yourself. What is it that you now have clarity to say, I now understand why I went through this? If you don't know and you're not feeling this yet, again, go to the condo in my head exercise on my website under Vibrasize, my friends. Because they're saying that a lot of this injustice that's taking place is feeding into certain people that are listening right now and those that will be listening later that have got some family stuff going down, and specifically with the woman in the family. You know, and they're saying the motherly issues. There's still a lot of motherly healing being taken place right now. And this is causing a lot of people that are listening not to love themselves on that feminine way. So this is both masculine and feminine. So men, women, everyone's got the masculine and feminine energy. So they're saying they really want you to work on that feminine energy this week to really get in alignment with that higher self, knowing that your higher self is going to lead the way. You need to trust in what is happening here. And I know there's a lot of people they're saying as well that have a lot of men in their life that are being very emotional. It's like, leave me alone. I don't really want to talk to you. You know, they're not saying enough. They're going in their own little shell. They're saying, again, let them be, but don't vibe that's who they are. Vibe on that loving, caring person that they are, knowing that they're going through something that they need to internalize. Again, we have to go through this alone, my friends. This is not a journey where we all come together and sing Kumbaya. Yes, we do, but the real work starts within. So, you know, and they're saying be aware. Like, you might get messages that just come out of nowhere and they might shock your world, but there's a silver lining to why this is taking place, they're saying. They're saying that, you know what, the spirit world is trying to work with every single person on this planet to make sure that we're all in alignment with where we need to go to help Gaia turn into the frequency of love. And, you know, there's a grand team that we now can work with. It's called the spirit world. Okay, again, guys, we have the ability. This is where the 4D magic comes in, and they're saying they really want people to work with this. Instead of saying, oh, my God, there's so many delays and frustrations in my life, and, oh, my God, I want to pull my hair out, say, no, I'm not dilly-dallying anymore. I'm moving with life. I'm not going to keep myself here. They're saying, like, well, my dad's getting really, like, stop feeling, you know, he's saying, find the love within, guys. Find the love within. You feel like you're not being recognized for who you are by people in your lives. And if you're in divine you and you feel like your divine partner is not recognizing for who you are, he's saying, get over it. Work on yourself. Because the reason why that person's vibing that is because you're vibing that. So again, they're saying like attracts like, my friends, in every aspect. So if you're not loving yourself because you've been to battle too many times and you're thinking, oh my gosh, nothing's ever going to change, and you know, you're not being common logic, and they're saying there's a lot of common sense and logic that's not happening. And it's simply, again, because of these energy shifts. People don't know how to control their minds and the way they're thinking because they're listening to what everybody else has to say. So they're saying, please, go within this week, my friends. You're being given this new book, this new vibration of, you know, let's start the new vibration of love in this new book of life in 4D. And start focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want. Okay, that takes time, but it does. You'll catch on. Then don't use that H word. Don't use the P word. You know, be cautious about what you're thinking and vibing and speaking. Okay, because they're saying that there is new coming for all of us, but this comes down to your self-wealth and your richness. How do you feel about yourself? Do you feel that richness within yourself? Do you feel like $1 million knowing that you can go out there and conquer the world? You know, and if you don't, then take 2 seconds and feel that wealth, even if it's only for a few minutes. Okay, not 2 seconds. Like, you know, you got to do at least 15, 20 seconds. But, you know, a lot of times if you go into 2-3 minutes, the boys pop up, and then that self-worth that you had is now saying that you're a piece of dirt because of something somebody said 5 minutes ago to you, because they tried to change your kaleidoscope with their perspective of what they think is best for you. This is what's going to go down, my friends, over the summer. So they're saying get control of that kaleidoscope and see the justice, knowing that you're stepping into who you are. That's the justice. That you're figuring this out, that you control your reality. No one else but you. So they're saying really work hard, my friends. And, you know, there's lots and lots of, you know, you can go, I think there's probably about 80 shows of Vibe Nation Radio that you can go back and listen to. Again, register for my newsletter. You know, I feel like Spirit's saying this is the time where they really want to thank those that have been supporting the Vibe Report. We had a little contest in there. So VR subscribers, my VR family, I love you dearly. As you guys can hear, I'm shuffling around your names, and I'm going to pull out the winner of, and look who it is, Fortini. Fortini, I think your mother wants to have another conversation with you, my dear. So thank you to all of those who actually participated in the contest in the VR family. Our soul family knows that, we're all about the love, and I'm sure all of you are understanding why Fortini was drawn to get the name or to get the reading from her loved one on the other side. So, again, my friends, they're just saying there's so much going on. And like myself, I'm stepping aside knowing that Chris is perfect for this. Him and I have already worked together. You guys understand his energy. You understand his wisdom and knowledge, and he's about to bring so much more to the table. So he's going to control Vibe Nation Radio until the fall. But I'm going to be working on other projects, and one of the big projects is the OMTimes expert webinars. I really need to put my energy into this because it's so important for people to figure out who they truly are right now so they can keep their kaleidoscope on their mission. And this is what the colors is all about. I've been teaching it for over 30 years, so I know what I'm talking about. And this is where I want to put my energy to be able to help all of you. So I can help you with the OMTimes webinars, and then Chris can help you with Vibe Nation Radio, bringing wisdom and knowledge and guests and all kinds of stuff to the show. So, guys, this is the way it is. Accept what shows up at your door. When spirit comes knocking, again, the Guild Inn event, that just came out of nowhere. But you know what? I'm aligned with all these people. These are people that I know. I've known them for over 20 years. I used to own an event management company and do multi-million-dollar events. So, it's turnkey and how I was able to connect with, the Colonial when he came through in spirit, just talk to them and give them the blessing and to know that, we're going to be there to have this magical place that has just beautiful energy. And I'm going to be able to give powerful messages, I know, to those that are attending from their loved ones on the other side. And I love doing this. And this is my soul's purpose, to help those get into alignment with love, knowing that, your loved ones are still there. You can't see them. But if you really close your eyes and get in tune with yourself, you can feel them. This is why we have these psychic abilities. You don't need a medium to feel your loved ones around you. Please remember this during this time. This is why they're saying, get your spirit team together, my friends, and start working with them. And know that, don't turn around and say, I want you to work on my finances, and yet they had no financial experience at all. And, maybe they, you don't give it to somebody who claimed bankruptcy in the family to deal with that. You make sure you give that, work with that person and throw the vibes to them. Like, align yourself with their strengths and knowledge that they have. So if somebody was really good at financing and you need help, speak to your spirit world, but speak in the vibrations of feeling wealthy and feeling well, money in the bank, got to be on time, that gold energy that you really desire. But make sure you communicate with the gold energies on the other side to help you with this. If you start communicating with the oranges that are wild and crazy, you might not have any money in the bank. So, again, those that follow, you will understand, my friends, colors is so important to understand. So please, get onto my newsletter. I will be sending out as soon as I have the date set up and I'm ready to go with all this stuff, because the colors is just not going to be one color seminar. You come to the initial seminar, you get colorized, you can get certified as well. That will be an option. And then we go into deepening. So once you've done the initial 2 to 3 hour online course, then there's going to be follow-ups of like an hour or two. And what these will be is going deeper into specific topics that we talk about. Maybe we talk about team building, or we go into personal relationships, or, how to communicate with your children. This is the kind of stuff I can go deeper into, but you have to go through the original process in order to go into the deepening processes. So this is what I'm working on, my friends, to really help you guys, because we're in for a crazy summer. The energy is going to be blissful, but the global energy, not so much. So you need to learn how to navigate through this, to be able to keep yourself in alignment with the 4D vibrations. Remember the frequency of love, my friends. You don't live in 5D. You tap into 5D and you channel that information down, but you don't stay there. We live in a 3D reality and enjoy what we have here. Mother Earth is so beautiful. She's got so much to offer. And when you live in the moment, my friends, like I said, magic appears. So go and spread that magic. Feel yourself within, knowing that you're a powerful, powerful, powerful soul. And there's major transformation happening for people right now. But you want to ensure you're going into the transformation of love and not going back into the vibration of fear. And if you don't allow yourself to go with the flow and get the emotions out, it will suppress you to the point that you will explode. And a lot of people on this planet will explode over the summer, my friends. And these are people that are waking up. And you know what? They have to go through the process. And if you've been through the process, you know, and you've got someone you love and they haven't gone through it yet, be patient. They will go through when their alarm clock goes off. But know when it goes off, you're going to be there to be able to help guide them. Again, guide them. You don't tell them, you guide them. Because what you are going through is not going to be what they're going through. So only bits and pieces of what you experience will resonate with them. And this is where they're going to have to start their journey and spread their wings and go and find the other teachers that are there that their soul is calling them, knowing that together. Again, we're all a piece of this puzzle, my friends. And we want to create this beautiful puzzle. And again, just remember, get yourself into the frequency of love, they're saying, by the 21st of August. When that solar eclipse takes place, you want to ensure that you are in the most blissful state you possibly can be, so that when 2019 shows up, my friends, you're living a magical world. So have a wonderful summer, my friends. Enjoy Chris and the show and Indian Summer, and I'll see you all on the call. Take care, my friends. Bye.